Weather phenomena are a part of the deal when living on this planet. Most of us are used to the regular rain showers or snowfalls, but those are just lightweights when it comes to what Mother Nature can really throw at us. For example, some regions of the world are prone to earthquakes where it's not unusual to see skyscrapers swaying wildly during an episode. There are places where it snows so hard that you literally have to dig your way out of the snow to get outside of your house. All of this might sound alien to most of us since we might be fortunate enough to not experience it, but that isn't the case for everyone. We bring you Mother Nature's true fury in all its forms, and if it wasn't recorded, no one would ever have believed it actually happened. Before we get started, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe, and click the notification bell for more such amazing content. Let's get to it. For people who don't have their own garage, their cars are often victim to the elements. Check out these vehicles which froze over a single night because of freezing cold rain. Getting this up and running is not going to be easy. The owner tries to roll down the window, but the car is still covered by a 12mm thick ice. The wheels are also frozen to the ground, so it looks like this car is going to be stuck here for a while. A frozen car wheel won't do you much good. Watch how it gets easily shattered like it's a piece of cardboard. Looks fun, but you won't be getting to work with that. While most of us can take shelter indoors when it gets freezing cold, same can't be said about animals in the wild. See how the frigid temperatures froze this unfortunate rabbit. It probably didn't even see it coming. You'd think birds could outrun the squall by flying away, but even they weren't spared from the storm's icy clutches. Here's a cool experiment to try when it's super cold outside. Grab a mug of hot water and throw it up in the air, and you'll be greeted by this cool sight. Almost like a frozen firework. Imagine living somewhere so cold that you literally have to dig your way out. This family got themselves trapped inside with their front door being completely blocked by snow. They had to use a shovel to break out of this snowy prison. Tough life. But sometimes even breaking free from a snow pile might not be enough. You might be greeted by this phenomenon. An icy tsunami can wreak havoc on your neighborhood. They usually form when strong winds pick up over water bodies when it's thawing. The wind brings the thawed pieces of ice onto land and recreates a tsunami, but with ice. They can sometimes make their way into people's homes and even cause immense property damages. Shoveling this out of your driveway isn't going to be easy like regular snow. Luckily, they don't happen that frequently. This scene looks like something out of a fairy tale. These buildings in New York got completely frozen in ice. It's essentially an ice prison. It turned out like this overnight after getting splashed with water from the waves coupled with below freezing temperatures. Even the residents who tried breaking the ice apart with a hammer failed since the ice layer is about 10 centimeters thick. You might need a jackhammer to break through something like that. I wonder how cold the inside must be when it freezes over like this. When things aren't cold, Mother Nature has other tricks up her sleeve, like this Seafoam which literally took out this town. The 3-meter-high Seafoam might not be dangerous as an icy tsunami, but it still makes a whole lot of mess of things. People seem to be amused by the whole spectacle. I mean, it's not every day your neighborhood gets flooded with thick foam. These people are sure having fun swimming in the Seafoam. It does look like a lot of fun, like a bubble bath let loose. I wonder how it smells, though. Let's get out of the foam and step into a live sandstorm waiting to happen. This incredible sight shows a looming massive sandstorm making its way toward the city. These storms can carry up to 15 million tons of sand at a crazy speed of 180 kilometers per hour. If you ever see something like this, best take cover indoors because you don't want to be buried and blinded in a sandstorm. Unless if you're this guy who's diving straight into it. But trying to escape the sandstorm by running towards the sea might also not be a good idea. Water spouts are powerful forces which can spin at a speed of 250 kilometers per hour and tower above everything. Getting caught near one of these is good enough to get you flying high into the air and spit you out elsewhere. So if you see one, run the other way. Or swim. If one water spout wasn't enough, nature throws 6 at you at once. This is what Russian tourists witnessed. It looks like the end of the world. But the Russians don't scare easily and didn't run away. They just want to wait it out until the water spouts dissipate so they can start swimming again. They've nerves of steel to be unfazed by 6 water spouts. Well, that's Russia for you. But sometimes luck is in your favour, as witnessed here. This massive water spout can be seen moving towards a city in Malaysia. Once on land, it would have created havoc, but as luck would have it, the water spout immediately dissipated as soon as it was about to hit the skyscraper. Close call, though. But if you want to get up close and personal with the force of nature, make your way to Mount Washington. It's the windiest mountain in the world. Watch how this man tries to push himself against gusts of wind travelling at 180 kilometers per hour. You can even try this cool experiment while you're here. Hold up your pants against the wind and watch them freeze in 20 seconds. Such heavy winds can make the temperature feel like minus 75 degrees Celsius. Even throwing boiling water in the air here will freeze instantaneously. Sometimes the weather can take an unexpected turn even on a normal day. In this beach in Siberia, beachgoers were taken by surprise when the weather suddenly turned for the worse. Next thing they know, they're being battered by thousands of hailstones. Within a matter of minutes, the entire beach was filled with them, and the beach had disappeared behind thick fog. People had to take shelter from the hailstorm, and it looks like their beach day got interrupted without warning. But sudden changes are part of the deal when it comes to nature. One of the best examples of this is Mount St. Helens eruption in 1980. Everything happened so quickly. Within a few seconds, a massive 1.6-kilometer chunk of the mountain broke off and slid down like an avalanche. St. Helens never looked the same after that incident. Imagine living near such a volcano. Well, that's the story of Indonesia, since it is a land with over 100 active volcanoes. Many people live within close vicinity of these mountains, so seeing sights like this isn't uncommon, like when the Sinabung volcano erupts every 2 years. The explosion spewed a massive 5-kilometer column of ash into the air at a speed of 700 kilometers per hour. That's a scary sight to see near where you live. The Merapi volcano was another one which erupted in Indonesia in 2020. Since the eruption happened during golden hour in the evening, it gave the smoke a pinkish color. Deadly, yet so beautiful. But volcanoes don't have to only be above ground. There are tons of underground volcanoes which cover the ocean floor. Imagine you're sailing on your boat and enjoying a nice break out in the sea when out of nowhere, a massive eruption shoots straight out of the water. Though it is a scary scenario, it is also, however, the birth of a new piece of land. The lava from the eruption cools instantly and hardens to form island masses. Even clouds can look ominous even though they are harmless, like these morning glory clouds that are captured over Lake Michigan. If you really look at it, it looks like a huge fluffy Swiss roll making its way towards the shore. This phenomenon can only be predictably seen in the southern part of the Gulf of Carpentaria in northern Australia. There are flying fish and then there are falling fish. The sight of fish falling from the skies, though, certainly is bizarre. Imagine how surprised you'd be if you go outside to do shopping down the street, holding an umbrella over your head, and see small fish lying around everywhere. We believe that's quite weird, but the local stray cats think this is the best rain ever in their lives. You're probably wondering how it's possible for fish to fall from the sky. It's actually quite simple and easy to explain. This rare weather phenomenon happens when somewhere in the ocean a waterspout occurs. Low atmospheric pressure and enormously strong winds lift fish from the surface of the water to the sky. After a while, the wind brings a whirlwind of fish to the land and causes this unusual rain. Though this natural phenomenon is considered rare, it happens almost every year. Now, you wouldn't want to cross paths with this rare phenomenon. When two fires merge into one, the air in the atmosphere heats up quickly and rises up, creating a fiery tornado. What's scary is that the temperature inside such a tornado can reach up to 800 degrees Celsius and can tower as high as 5 kilometers in the air. This definitely looks like the apocalypse. Even Mother Nature likes to set records like us humans. For example, the largest known tornado happened in Japan in 1923. It was so massive that it was 183 meters tall and close to 305 meters wide. It spun at a velocity of 200 kilometers per hour, and it gets worse. The tornado caught fire because of ruptured gas lines used for cooking in the city. So basically, a fire-breathing dragon in the shape of a massive tornado. But sometimes natural phenomena can't be explained that easily, like when more than 400 whales got beached on the shores of New Zealand. People were stunned by this incident and didn't understand what caused it. The locals tried saving them, but only some 100 whales were able to return to the ocean. Strange, right? But here's another example when animals participate in a group-like behavior. Hundreds of these birds fly in unison and form intriguing shapes in mid-air. It's like seeing an air show put on by birds, but much more advanced than something we could ever do. Somehow they fly really close without crashing into one another, and often at speeds of 40 kilometers per hour. Rainfall in green colour isn't going to reassure anyone of its harmlessness if it were to fall over unsuspecting citizens. Green water is often associated with dangerous chemicals or nuclear waste. So when green rain fell over the Indian city of Kolkata in summer of 2002, its residents ran in fear. But after studies were conducted, people sighed a breath of relief. Turns out the rain contained flowers and mango pollen. Another surprising ingredient found in the rain were bee droppings, since there was a large presence of them in the area. The wind probably sucked up these things into the atmosphere and later rained it down. The mixture of these different ingredients gave it a green tinge. A similar case was noted in Moscow, Russia, but instead of mango pollens, it was pollen from birches. Crazy to imagine such a rainfall in real life, but it's a real phenomenon.
Some Christians believe that humanity will reach a stage where believers will rise into the clouds to meet their Lord, and the event is known as the rapture. It's assumed that those captured will be drafted up in the glorious trails of light. Just see these immaculate scenes. These are light pillars, an amazing phenomenon visible to the naked eye in the dark. When temperatures drop below freezing, particularly between 14 degrees to minus 40 degrees Fahrenheit, millions of hexagonal plate-shaped ice crystals can start to form. When they form near the ground, light from things like houses and street lights reflects off them, tunneling the rays upwards to form these amazing, shining pillars. The image appeared on the internet a few years ago. Some crazy people considered it a huge red lightning storm. It may seem like a Neo-Tokyo explosion from Akira. It's not a red lightning storm as claimed. It seems to be a high storm on the horizon, but if we follow the seeming horizon, it's clear that it in reality is a crater, and the red lightning is because of volcanic lava. Volcanoes and lightning have a special and mesmerizing relationship. On the eruption of a volcano, fragments of volcanic ash collide at a high speed in the air. It generates static electricity within the volcanic plume, thereby creating an immense storm known as dirty thunderstorm.
When an earthquake rears its scary head, what do most people do? Well, the people of Nepal immediately stopped their vehicles mid-road and started to form a human chain for support. It's better to be outdoors since indoors poses the most amount of risk. The cracks that appeared after the massive earthquake in 2015 were wide enough to swallow up a car wheel. Even the skyscrapers were swinging wildly. But if you want to see the largest of cracks on the surface of the planet, you need to make your way to the East African Rift Valley. You're looking at an active continental rift which is splitting Africa into two. Some of the cracks are wide and deep enough to contain large buildings. The 56-kilometer-long rift will eventually separate the continent in an estimated few million years. Crazy stuff, right? Well, thank goodness these weather phenomena don't happen regularly, and not for the most of us. Was there a particular phenomenon which freaked you out the most? Or have you ever had an experience with one? Let us know in the comments. Before we let you go, be sure to hit the like button, share and subscribe. Later.